Hello, this is the ASRE Pathways Introductory Workshop. All students signed up to complete an ASRE pathway are required to attend either an in-person workshop or watch this recorded workshop and complete the Microsoft form linked at the end of this video. More instructions about the Microsoft form will be provided at the end. Please note, this workshop does not count as a content required workshop counted toward your ASRE pathway. First, let's talk about the what of the program. ASRE stands for Advanced Student Research Experience. ASRE pathways are a combination of curricular courses students are already required to take for their degree and co-curricular events outside of the classroom and activities designed to enhance students' college experience. There are two pathways to choose from: distinction and excellence. Students should have selected a pathway when they signed up. If you did not, please contact the advanced office with your selection at advance@louisiana.edu. Review the requirements for your department on our website at the link on this slide. The ASRE pathway selected is related to your major, not your minor or concentration. If a student is a double major, they must select one ASRE pathway to pursue. It is important to note that the requirements are meant to be completed throughout your college career, not all in one semester. Like curriculum builds your skills each semester, the co-curricular requirements are meant to build each semester as you complete each item. The curricular portion of the ASRE pathways is checked through DegreeWorks through your grades. The co-curricular portion of the ASRE pathways is checked through campus groups, which will be discussed later in this presentation. Tracking your research progress is meant to teach you the professional task of self-evaluation and goal setting. Next, let's talk about the why. Why would you pursue this program? The goal of the ASRE Pathways program is to connect you with your degree in a more meaningful way. Through the program, you will gain marketable skills, and upon completion, you will earn a designation on your transcript, making you more competitive for graduate school, professional school, or the job market. You'll create professional contacts through important networking and program support. Finally, you'll engage in your college experience, giving you ownership of your future endeavors. Now that we've discussed the what and the why, we'll get into the particulars of tracking your progress through the ASRE pathways. An important aspect in the ASRE pathways is the ASRE attributes. The attributes are used to notify the student's advisor and department head who is enrolled in the ASRE Pathways program, allowing for a better advising experience. These attributes are added in banner by the advanced office and are visible in DegreeWorks. The attributes are DIST for distinction and EXCL for excellence, based on what the student has chosen as their pathway when they signed up. It is important to mention that students must be in the appropriate catalogs to receive these attributes. If a student is in the wrong catalog, they should check with their advisor or department head before changing catalogs, as we do not want this to affect their graduation. For most students, the process to change catalogs begins in the dean's office. Be sure to seek guidance before changing catalogs. This slide shows each department available and the academic year they became effective. If you do not find your ASRE pathway on this slide or on the advanced website, your program may not have an active ASRE pathway, and therefore students cannot sign up. To the left, we start with the pilot departments that became effective for the 2023-2024 academic year. Students that are within one of these 5 departments must be in at least the 2023-2024 catalog. In the middle section, there are the next set of departments that were implemented, and students in those majors must be in at least the 2024-2025 catalog to receive the attribute. Last, on the right are the most recent departments implemented, and students in those majors must be in at least the 2025-2026 catalog. Feel free to pause on this slide to find your department and effective catalog year. As stated earlier, Campus Groups is the tracking software for the ASRE Pathways co-curricular requirements. There are several ways to get to Campus Groups. The link is on this slide. There is a card in ULink called Student Organization Portal, and there's an app students can download. Campus Groups is single sign-on, so students log in with their ULID and password. Student submissions of curricular and co-curricular accomplishments are required to be electronically submitted through Campus Groups, as well as physical copies of supporting documentation submitted to the advanced office located in Dupre Library, room 102. This is the view of the home page for Campus Groups. Campus Groups tracks student engagement from all offices on campus. For the focus of the ASRE Pathways, we are covering my groups, my checklists, my involvement, and my surveys and forms. Students can view the groups that they are a part of, for example, the Advanced Student Research Experience group. They can also see their checklists, which is the ASRE pathway that they have signed up for. Students are only added to their checklist, which is their ASRE pathway, once they have completed the ASRE Pathways Introductory Workshop. The My Involvement tab shows the student's co-curricular transcript, and the My Surveys and Forms tab shows all the forms the student has viewed, saved as a draft, or submitted. Next, we'll dive deeper into each of these pages. Within the Advanced Student Research Experience group, students will see a feed of updates on the program, any events coming up, links to our social media accounts, and anything we deem necessary to inform the students about. Under the ASRE Applications tab, students may apply to be in an ASRE pathway. Please note that students may not see this form. If a student signed up in person, they do not need to submit this form. In the future, we anticipate being fully electronic, and this will be the only method for students to apply and complete an ASRE pathway. Students may also apply to change their ASRE pathway, for example, change from distinction to excellence, or if they have changed their major, or apply to remove themselves from the ASRE pathway. There is no cost for this, but students must initiate these changes. Students will receive email confirmations from Campus Groups for any group memberships, form submissions, form approvals, or any updates given. Under the My Checklist tab in the home page, students may view the ASRE pathway that they have been added to. They see the ASRE pathway title, the percentage completion, and a description with the number of courses required and the co-curricular events required. Each requirement is its own form. Students will see the button to view or submit the form for each requirement. Students may also see pending forms, meaning forms that have been submitted by the student but are still in the approval process. They can see the date of submission as well as a link to the form they submitted. Here's another example of a more complete ASRE pathway. Again, under the My Checklist tab on the home page, students will see the ASRE pathway they have been added to, showing the title, percentage completion, description, and list of requirements with each form. Fully approved requirements will show a purple check as well as completed, noted with the date of completion, and the approved form linked. If the form is approved or pending approval, the student may not edit the form. If the form has been rejected or needs modifications, the student may edit the form and resubmit. As you are added to your checklist, you can and should begin filling out the forms of requirements you have completed. You also may add information in a form and save it as a draft. This is a good idea for the curricular form, as you can add courses taken each semester. Students may view their co-curricular transcript under the My Involvement tab. It shows any groups the student is a part of, any officer positions held, any badges they have earned, and their checklists, which is their ASRE pathway. In order for the checklist to show, the student must edit their transcripts and check the box to show their tracks and checklists. It will note the ASRE pathway they're enrolled in, as well as the percentage completion and the description of number of courses required and co-curricular events required. The My Surveys and Forms tab on the home page shows students all the forms they have as a draft, have submitted and are pending approval, have submitted and requires modifications as noted by the approver, have submitted and been rejected by the approver, or have been fully approved by all steps in the process. They can also see the dates of the most recent update, as well as what step the form is in the process. Again, if the form is pending approval or approved, the student may not edit or resubmit. If the form has been rejected or requires modifications, the student may edit and resubmit the form. If a form has been approved, students do not need to do anything more. That requirement has been complete. If a form has been rejected, that means that the event a student submitted does not count for that requirement. The student can edit the form with a different event and resubmit. If a form has been sent back as requires modifications, that means that the event submitted does count, but the student is missing information. The student should edit the form to add the missing information and resubmit. If a form has been rejected or requires modifications, the team member reviewing the student's form is required to add a comment of what is missing or incorrect. This will be visible on the email sent from campus groups, as well as in the campus groups chat tab. Next, we will discuss documentation. Documentation is required for all co-curricular events. Students must upload or attach the supporting documentation within each form submitted. As of right now, students must also submit physical copies of their supporting documentation, authenticating their co-curricular events. Documentation may be submitted to either the Advanced Office in Dupre Library, Room 102, or Jessica Thibodeau's office in BO Hall, Room 103. Again, you can submit documentation as events are completed. Make sure that the documentation contains the student's name and UL ID. If students have questions, they can email advance@louisiana.edu. All ASRE pathways require at least one workshop. Workshops or trainings require either an email confirmation, a certificate of completion, or a screenshot of the graded quiz or completed training as documentation. Workshops that are ASRE approved are available on our website at the link on this slide. This webpage is updated every semester, as well as throughout the semester, as more workshops become available. This webpage also holds the online recorded workshops that are available. It is important to note that 2 online recorded workshops count as 1 workshop required. Online recorded workshops require students to watch video and pass a short Moodle quiz for completion. A screenshot of the past quiz grade is the documentation needed. It is also important to note that an ASRE Pathways workshop can only count once, even though multiple workshops are hosted each semester. Students may not take the same workshop multiple times and count them all separately. For both exhibitions and conference presentations, we require both the abstract or photo of piece submitted as well as the conference agenda or program with the student's name and project name. For physical documentation, students do not need to print the entire agenda or program. The first page noting the name of the conference or exhibition and the page noting the student's date, time, or category will suffice. For electronic documentation, please submit the entire program or agenda. For a competition, we require either an email confirmation of participation, a certificate of participation, a certificate of placing, or the abstract or photo of the piece submitted for participation. For a publication submission, we need both a PDF of the submission showing the student's name as a co-author and the email confirmation of the submission with the name of the publication. For an honors thesis, we need a PDF of the thesis submitted. For an internship or work experience, that could be a letter or an email from your supervisor speaking to the research or work completed, a screenshot of a check stub without any personal information, or the final paper for an internship course. For a leadership experience, things like an email confirmation of participation or a picture of the sign-in sheet for things like preview day, or a student tutor schedule, or a screenshot of the organization's officers would all be considered documentation of a leadership experience, depending on what your department has decided would count towards this requirement. Refer to the superscript notes on the ASRE Pathways requirement documentation for more information. Students may also want to consult with their department's ASRE approver, who are faculty working with the ASRE Pathways program. The last slide for documentation is about mentored research. Having gone through the process with the 5 pilot programs, biology and psychology chose to utilize a Word document with specified information that students need to provide regarding their mentored research experience. Other departments have followed this procedure, but it is up to the department as to what documentation will be required. These documents are now housed within the Advanced Student Research Experience group under the Documents tab in the ASRE Pathways Documents folder. Students are able to download the Word document and fill it out according to the information required. It is also required that the student and the student's mentor sign the document. That document then is uploaded to the form associated with the mentored research requirement as the documentation. The document requires the student's name, name of project, number of hours or semesters worked on the project, main questions addressed, summary of methods used, and summary of findings. Review the folder to determine the departments using this file. Lastly, we will review the curricular items. For students that did not take UNIV 100 at UL Lafayette or have had it substituted with another course, students must complete the How to Think Critically online recorded workshop available on the Advance website. Students watch the video and pass the Moodle quiz associated with it. A screenshot of their quiz grade is their documentation needed for this requirement. This documentation should be submitted in the curricular form in campus groups, as well as printed and submitted in person. For students that have transferred in courses that are requirements for the ASRE Pathways, we have reached out to each department to determine what the policy will be. Please contact Ms. Jessica Thibodeau if you have transferred courses that are ASRE Pathways requirements. The curricular form is for the student to add courses taken, if necessary, and the semester they completed them in. This form should be submitted in the student's final semester. Again, students may add information to the form and save it as a draft at the end of each semester. If there are any questions, you may reach out to Jessica Thibodeau or the Advance office, or take advantage of the office hours for that semester. Now that you have watched this video, you will need to take the Microsoft Forms quiz linked on the ASRE Pathways webpage or scan the QR code to access the quiz. The last question on the quiz should be answered, "I understand." This indicates you understand the requirements for tracking your progress through the ASRE Pathways. If students answer 90% of the questions correctly, the student will be added to their checklist in campus groups and can and should begin submitting forms and documentation. Please allow up to 72 hours processing time to be added to the checklist. Thank you for watching this video.